Flat Earth British, Martin Liedtke speaking. Hi guys, welcome back to the great Flat Earth British Think Tank for another roller coaster ride of information. Okay, how is your Brian, by the way? This will be another big download, more cutting edge thoughts. Okay guys, new ways of thinking for us all. Now, the last week has been incredibly busy. Since my last post on computer cities, it's been spoken about on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and all over YouTube. It's got people thinking. Okay, now we're going to have some extended thoughts and connect some dots. Okay, so this is from you guys in comments. Your comments are fantastic, guys. Keep them coming. Any thoughts on this subject? Okay, because this is a think tank. This is how it's done, think tanking. So please, everyone who's contributed information, thanks so much, and please continue to contribute. Okay, it's just a brilliant, fantastic, loving, sharing, brothers and sisters together environment. We should be very happy. I feel very grateful for that, you know, just to be in it. Super fucking fantastic. So we're going to go deeper, guys. Okay, we're going to go deeper. We're going to talk about human batteries and something that might fit into this narrative. Okay, guys, we're going to look into mud flood along the way. Mud flood, DenverTaria. And DenverTaria is a city in Colorado, which is probably the easiest to pick up out of all these cities because it was a latecomer to the cities being built in America, apparently, and it's just miraculously arrived like all the rest. We're going to look into that bullshit narrative. Now, which they all are, because, you know, people start looking into these stories and they see a pattern of, you know, the city got destroyed, it got rebuilt again, destroyed, rebuilt again, great expositions, blah blah blah, all of them identical architecture. Now, so I've been I was discharged on Saturday because I'd been doing too much and overworking. I've been on Hangout till 3 or 4 in the morning, but it was one of the best. If you haven't seen this Hangout, it was with James True, who's going to come and hook up with Flat Earth British over here. Okay, we do love James True. And all the guys on TFR Friday. On Friday, so I was there, and then lost my charge for the day for Saturday. But now I'm fully recharged. In fact, I'm supercharged, turbo fucking charged, ready to kick ass. Okay. Love bombs. Can't be bombing my love. It's doomed. So make sure to share this out, guys, because it'll make all the difference. Okay, guys, because sharing this video will make a difference, and liking it as well, and subscribing as well, please. Okay, you ready? Buckle in. Here we go. Okay, peace and love to you all. Keep your vibration up. Okay. Pandemic? What pandemic? I never even knew there was one. That's right. You see, it's working. Now, we'll share thoughts along the way. 1,000 thoughts, guys. I've got like a lot to think about and share with you. Okay. Now we're going to start here. Now, circuit board cities or computer cities seem to go a lot deeper into the structure of a reality, as in the fractal nature of reality, the geometric reality. Okay, which is a reality. Okay, you can think of it in terms of quantum mechanics, but going deeper and deeper, things getting smaller and smaller. Okay, now what you get here, guys, we'll start here, is Animatrix in the beginning. Okay, and it's the animated film of the Matrix. I'm sure loads of people have seen this. Now, in the beginning, they show you the Oracle, and she's on a mandala, and the mandala is the circuit board. Now remember, we've shown the mandala on Flat Earth British and interpreted it as the 4 angels, which indeed it is. So mandalas are 4 angels, board 4 angels, and the circuit boards potentially 4 angels. Look at the depth. First thing I saw when I looked at this, I thought, oh, this is like the film The Last Mimsy. Have you ever seen that film? This kid has a rabbit, and it's like sent from, you know, when everybody's dead in the future back in time, but they couldn't send matter through, so they sent a computer through, and it had this sort of computer setup, processing setup, deep, layer after layer. I quantum mechanics or like the real fractal structure to this simulation. And it's a circuit board bursting forth the flower of life, and within the oracle. It goes deeper. So having saw that, I thought this is deeper than I actually thought. Not only is the entire plane on a grid system overlaying ley lines to do with water, probably to do with, you know, spirit, and it's plane wide, and it's all of these cities are computing something. So people are suggesting, is it computing our reality, if this is a simulation, or is it computing a reality for elsewhere, or computing for something elsewhere outside of here, like, you know, Earth server room type of thing. So I thought that was incredible that the mandala is interpreted as a circuit board, which indeed it looks like. But there is a narrative out there, and we'll go here right to the cities are computers. What mechanism could run a computer? Are the things that would be needed part of an infrastructure of a city? Okay, so we'll give you some ideas. Now, in the past, this narrative, the streets were paved with gold in London. Okay, and it came from a 19th century story of Dick Whittington and his cat. Okay, in the 14th century. Okay, and he thought it was the land of opportunity. He goes there, became successful. He became the Lord Mayor of London, but he thought the streets were paved with gold. And there's another narrative here that came along in the Universal Songster. Okay, but it gives you, look, wishing for their tales of the trappening. Just coincidentally posted that on my last picture on my community page. The trappening is when they drill a hole in the top of your head to let the wind blow into your brain, invigorating it and so curing you from lewd thoughts. Painless, but you do get a free, painful and not much blood loss, but you do get a free haircut. Okay, so why is that in there? Anyway, so this was what got me here. There was another narrative here for the streets were paved with gold. Okay, in the leisure hour in 1866, and the original phrase in Revelations 21:21, where New Jerusalem, okay, from the book of Ezekiel, is described. The 12 gates were 12 pearls, and each gate was made of a single pearl, and the street of the city was made of pure gold, as clear as glass. So it's in the Bible too, in Ezekiel's visions. So it's, you know, the narrative is out there that the streets were paved with gold. So we'll just surmise that sometime in a previous reset, still maybe down there in mud, there would have been a thin coating, almost transparent, of gold. Sounds like electrum to me. Electrum has conductive properties. It might be what all the gold is about, guys. It's the conductive properties of it. You know, the whole, you know, everything seems to be about the gold, doesn't it? What about ways of transferring it around a city? Well, these have been an anomalous question for us for quite some time. Is these half mudflood buried bollards? Now, this is on either side. I guess you could put a chain across, but they're just so elaborate. For the Vatican, and you see them going through here. What would that be for? To tie your horse on? To sit on? You know, there's seemingly no use for these bollards. They're right the way through antiquity. Also, what could play a role is these these steel drain covers and railings. We'll talk about them in a minute. And these bollards for ram raiders, that stop someone driving up there possibly, but they're made of metal. And these all over Asia, Europe, you find them. These are anomalous covers. Also these, you see these in every city, don't you? For carrying a charge, a circuit around a circuit board. Excuse me. Also these lug caps, these things you see in Russia as well. They're anomalous. They're all over the streets there, and they look like computer components to me. Also these, found in Russia. Also these. They're everywhere. So these are through cities. I think they look like computer parts, but you know, obviously bigger. Here, on red brick London Arch, either side, old. So here they're buried. You can see in a doorway here, up to probably 3/4 of it, because the rest is in mud. And what would they have been their original use? Also these. And they're very ornamental, some of them. Some real effort has gone in from just for the side of a crappy wall. Crappy wall. Beautiful, engraved, wrought iron pillar. Makes no sense. Also these, wrought iron bridges and wrought iron walkways. Good transfer charges. Also these chains. Bollards. So if you think of that all the way through cities, they could indeed. Also the railings you see at the top, these antiquitech devices, bunko booths, yeah, this is all fitting in completely in my mind. These, even looking down on the top of them, look like part of a processor and a part of a computer motherboard, and the bunko booths. Now, we've been thinking about reflections and mirrors, guys. It fits right into this narrative, and I'll show you how along this post. So these are some of Russia. Not many people around, but these massive buildings. But that's not what we're going to look at. So, railings. Now we're going to look at them in a minute. Let me just show you some circuit boards that have shown up in the last week. So these somebody showed me for Las Vegas. And Las Vegas is shown from high up. Okay, this is actually a city. I know it looks very, very much like a circuit board, but it's not. It's a city. Now, the squares and the grids have been there all along, guys. I'm going to show you with Denver, Colorado, and city I looked into this morning when I was talking to a friend. What I'm finding now is when I'm looking through all these old maps of American cities and all their grids like this laid down from an older world, that was there already. Check this out, which has been talked about this week and before on John Levy's epic last post, which is fantastic, about this plane wide grid system of glyphs you can see from above. And they're certainly there. I'll show you some examples along the way. But so in the modern day, they look like computers. Even this bit is in a computer. I don't know whether they've done that deliberate. Even the cross, in fact, all of it looking down is parts of a computer. Is that done deliberately? Maybe we never just noticed before. So what you find is, in the old days, okay, everybody lived before the days of Tartaria or what have you. We were living in duchies, self-governing in small communities with no large cities after one of the resets, and we lived in yurks or teepees. Okay, we did not live in brick buildings. The Phoenicians bring in brick buildings as well. Okay, like a cell for a battery. Now they recently wanted us all inside of our cells, didn't they? Now we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So it seems that most of the ancient sites I have looked at stacks. We'll look at one or two of them now. Okay, replicas of circuit boards. You get the processor, even the spikes on it. It's really trippy once you see it. It's just wow. This is the Forbidden City in Peking. Forbidden for a reason. And we talked about these being covered, these pyramids, which I've heard of it being a circuit board before all of this, but talked about circuit boards back about 2 years ago. It's on the Tartaria channel, and we talked about this, but they were covered in what we think is electrum pyramids, part of this computer structure. And not only Mexico, Teotihuacan in Mexico, which we'll look at a little bit as well. And this is not inside a computer. This is not a city, it's a computer, but check it out. There are skyscrapers, roads. I'm sure water plays a part of it as well. Water-cooled computer. And what you find in the centre of most cities, guys, is you have a stadium, which stay full of people. who they have on an upper vibrational experience on their realm for their sporty event, where everyone's happy in their ignorance, but they're happy regardless. Okay, and there's a certain energy. You've all felt the energy on a Mexican wave. Stadiums in the center of all of these cities. Okay, they're apart. I think they're like a natural processor, power in it. Okay, vibrationally, us and our electromagnetism, which we have a lot of, by the way. We have a lot of electric in us. You'd be very, very surprised. Okay, so cities, there's no getting away with it. They look like circuit boards. Now, what you find, this is Angkor Wat in Cambodia. We've looked at it before. This place is immense. It goes out into the, into the landscape. We get the ancient lines, but again, it looks like circuitry. Star forts are definitely looking like they're part of it, and the mechanism for the Statue of Liberty. I always thought it looked like a gun. Now I'm thinking something else. So there it is, the power plant in the centre. And there it is on a map, which looks decidedly like a processor, does it not? In fact, it looks identical to processor, even the clips again. And there's a bigger enclosure here. This thing was supposed to be rediscovered in the 17th century, or 18th century actually, by people in the jungle, and it was supposed to be in the remnants of the Khmer Empire. You can see all there in the landscape as well. Loads of stuff going on. I looked here on Google Earth this morning. I've only got Google Maps on this computer, so won't bother. You see these? This is a city. This is mass city they put around it. This enclosure is bigger than the Angkor Wat one. Also, I noticed Versailles. I went through some lead atlases, 1733. In the gardens of Versailles, indeed all of these Phoenician garden layouts. Look, the Masonic compass, only just seen it. I bet that's set at 21.5 degrees. But they definitely look like they might be something to do with circuitry. And as we've proposed also on Flat Earth British, Solomon's sigils. Sigils are definitely what look like piezoelectric forces. So, sigils that represent demons, etc., are also electrical forces, which we've talked about, which you think on Flat Earth British. Angels, electric forces, demons, electric forces. Electric can be both good and evil, or whatever it is. This is a picture of Nineveh out in the lead atlases from 1733. Is it Babylon in Syria? But what you find, if I could just mag up, okay, excuse me, is it looks like a circuit board. You've got this massive tower in the middle, and what looks like between the gates some sort of, like, these look like they might be, I don't know, Van de Graaff generators or something, and there's like a laser beam or something going between the two, like an arc. I've talked about it before. Everything's mud flooded outside, and that's supposed to be from the ancient world of antiquity. These water enclosures, holes going through, so zero to do with anything defensive. Okay, this is a device. So that's ancient Babylon. Also, that's Nineveh, and Nineveh's the same thing. Looks star 40. Considering it's supposed to be an ancient antiquity. This is 1733 Nineveh, guys. You get this large tower here. It looks like, like a basically an antenna and some sort of what looks like modern day plant for ancient Nineveh in a lead atlas 1733. Also looks like circuitry. So, and this is I think Nineveh as well, and even the gardens outside look very circuit boardy. But there you are, they got the centre processor. This tower is only like 1 room thick. I don't know what kind of tower it is. It's very unusual. Okay, so Nineveh, star 40 in the ancient world apparently, and it looks exactly like a computer. There's narratives out there. This is not be missed. We'll look a little bit in a minute, guys, further on in an article. But Angkor Wat has a number of huge buried monuments underneath. It's huge columns buried, which shows that this thing's been prone to mud flood at some stage or some sort of destruction. So we've found so many over the last couple of weeks. So the circuit boards or the computers, and they need to transfer a charge down the routes. Now Lee Flat Earth British said something in my live feed the other night, Sunday night, saying, "Do you notice that the underside of a circuit board looks like the stars?" I was like, "Holy fuck! Yes, they do. They do look like stars." So in World War II, guys, in Britain, they cut down all the railings off all the houses in my city, in every city, and they said they took all the railings away, right, to the war effort to make battleships and tanks. Unfortunately, none of them arrived. Now this is an article telling you all about it, okay? They never arrived at the steelworks, all of the metal during World War II, okay, when you need loads of metal for guns and bombs and everything. So what did they do with all the metal? Okay, well, a lot of people seen that it was basically dumped in the Thames. And this stuff was high quality iron railings, okay? You know, our barges loaded and dumped into the Thames estuaries. You've got to ask yourself, why are they getting rid of all the railings during a war, saying it's for the war effort, and there's a conspiracy out there, okay, which is quite convincing, that basically they were taken for some other reason and dumped, which is a mystery. You know, they say these things were absolutely, you know, ornate Victorian railings, quality stuff, okay, but it's been in conjecture for decades what happened to them. So all the railings go missing. We talked about this on Flat Earth British, Celtic Tartaria channels a couple of years ago. We surmised that after World War II was the advent of television, and wrought iron, you know, is hazardous with the signal of with wireless. So was that why? Or for television signals, was that why? But I think that they were getting rid of the old structure, the old circuit board. The new buildings now are all stone, steel and glass, aren't they? And RSJs of steel, okay? And that's all they are, that's all the new buildings are. So they could conduct. Now every building, every house is connected to the electricity grid, isn't it? So all of the buildings are already connected. Now they have free energy, guys. Okay, they have free energy. There's more going on with electric. I think electric is a big question in this. What is it? There could be some sort of mysterious electric trapped in the electric, or electric in the electric of the electric. This stuff is trippy. And it's the key. They called it God in the past, in the alchemical era, Deus, because it was so mysterious, the electrical force. So this mechanism was playing wide, but I think it goes a bit deeper. I think they might have had some other tech going on, because in Teotihuacan in Mexico, this pyramid on the King's Tomb, okay, I'm not going to go with any official narratives, but they found a shitload of mercury underneath it. The archaeologists have discovered liquid mercury at the end of a tunnel beneath the Mexican pyramid, and the finding could suggest the existence of the King's Tomb or ritual chamber. So they have no idea what they're doing there, but they say it's really hazardous, okay? Slowly working their way down the broad, dark and deep corridor beneath the pyramid, battling humidity, now obliged to wear protective gear against dangers of mercury poisoning, okay, because the poisoned on it. Mercury is toxic and capable of devastating the human body through prolonged exposure. The liquid metal has no apparent practical purpose for the ancient Mesoamericans, they say. So these academics basically don't know shit about shit, but it's a step pyramid. I mean, it's a device, and they got liquid mercury. But isn't this bit interesting? You mirrors were considered a way to look into the supernatural world. So this mirror, or these this liquid mercury, if you like, was thought to be like a mirror, like mirrors, like what I told you about with them devices that the lamas were saying, they were called mirrors and had the same technology. So it said the archaeologists known that scintillation fascinated the Asian people generally, and then the liquid mercury may have been regarded as somewhat magical for the ritual purposes and symbolic uses. Sounds a load of crap. This one I think I can answer. In 2013, archaeologists using a robot found metallic spheres, which they dubbed disco balls, in the unexcavated portion of the tunnel near pyrite mirrors. I wish I could understand all the things you guys are finding down here, says Haddock. Anyway, so they find some rubber balls. Where does it say that? Excuse me. They find some rubber balls. Now, I think the rubber balls are used for throwing through the mirror to see if it takes the rubber ball. So a lot of things were found down there, and there's what it looks like. It's a device. It looks technical as hell and looks very computery. So I'll give you the link, you read that for yourself. So highly interesting, that mercury underneath. They also thought to have had mercury rivers and canals. Okay, and here in Angkor Wat, they have buried towers. Okay, under this site, they have images of it. It's quite incredible, and it just looks so much like a circuitry. Oh, I hate that. Excuse me. Oh, really? I would just accept it, but it does it again. Central Causeway. So, you have these towers, and apparently all of this stuff is buried. Look at this, all mud flooding, quite deep as well. So these blocks and this tower at Angkor Wat, they don't really talk too much about that. So yeah, it's interesting. It's been mud flooded, and it's interesting. It's a circuit board and a device. Moving on. Also, another contender is Solomon's Temple and Herod's Temple. Herod's Temple is a definite contender. It's got the heat sink. It looks exactly like, in fact, the whole thing looks like a processor. It looks out of Barry. Look at this, Solomon's Temple. Think of it in the context of, electrics. It'll explain the shape of the Dome of the Rock as well. And this by here, it's just mind-blowing. It looks exactly like circuitry. So that'll explain a lot about that too, in my mind. So if you just give me a second, please make sure to share this out. Okay. So there's some extended thoughts on that anyway, guys. This thing was huge. It goes into the fractal nature of this place, as you can see with the mandala. So this thing is a lot deeper and a lot bigger than any of us initially thought. The cities are computing. Okay, they're computing today, as you've seen by Vegas. They're all connected to the electricity grid. I'm wondering whether apart from using electricity out of the plug socket, are they actually collecting energy as well through Wi-Fi maybe, or other technologies? So this I posted on my Tartarian channel, our Tartarian channel, excuse me, 21,000 subs, Celtic Tartarian channel, which was our channel up until last year. And the last video I posted was flat day shocker, plasma bone batteries. What we found was spooky, and we found that that's interesting. That's collecting electrostatic charge using the spires, so part of this mechanism for powering a PC. So these are under the Paris Catacombs, the millions and millions of bones, and if they are placed correctly and they basically get heavy, the pressure of the weight will release piezoelectric forces, and you can see they put wires between them. Okay, and there's other examples. So these things are in fact batteries. Okay, human batteries. Now at some stage these things would have been on the surface, these catacombs, and who even knows what society was like then to have the dead creating a charge. So it makes some sort of sense, I guess. But the bones themselves are like batteries. They're sealed ends, and inside is a marrow. And when this is compressed, the marrow is compressed, and then the piezoelectric force is released. And we think the charge runs out. Now, excuse me. Before now, there has been trillions of people that have been killed in cyclical events, in mud floods, by the Phoenicians, the ones that are doing this crazy shit to everybody now. Okay, if you think the Queen has the last word, she doesn't. She had to be coronated, say, for someone else, some other entity we don't know, the Phoenicians. Now, they had these on the surface at some stage, these bone battery banks, okay, and this would make an explanation why there are no graveyards in any of the church devices, because they were not churches, they were church devices, also powering the grid. Now, if you imagine, when you're out all day in work, okay, you are charging your batteries, aren't you? You're getting invigorated through the happenings of the day. You might feel a little bit burnt out, 3 o'clock, a bit of hypoglycemia, quick Mars bar, brand new again, but you are charged. And then when you get home to your brick building, which is earthed, all brick buildings are earthed, okay, and they are connected to the electricity grid, okay, so after each day, all these highly charged people who've been at work all day, they all go home to their cells, the brick crystalline structure cells, and then they discharge themselves. Okay, they relax at night and blow out. I'm so knackered after my day. You're just flattened, and you're flat. Your battery is flat. We are batteries. We are electric. If you die, they bring you back to life by clear proofs, and our electrical synapses, electrical responses. Brian is electric. We are all electric. This universe is electric. Okay, and they got to produce a lot of electric to feed the machine cities. Okay, now in theory, if you didn't go home, or you went home to your teepee or log cabin or gut or what have you, then you wouldn't really discharge. And if you didn't have to discharge and collapse every night and go into a coma in the night if you do sleep, then theoretically, okay, you could live a very, very long time. Like a very long time. So yeah, so bone battery banks are a link up. It's on the Tartaria channel. Please sub to this channel if you're not aware of it. But we'll go a bit further. People who are going home to their houses carry an immense amount of power. The average human at rest produces 100 watts of power. Over periods of a few minutes, humans can comfortably sustain 300 to 400 watts. And in a case of very short bursts of energy, such as sprinting, some humans can produce over 2,000 watts of electricity. So what would that be in a city of, say, 400,000 people? And they all go home highly charged overnight. Now wouldn't that do something? They might have a way of using our energy. Okay, it might be an energetic spiritual level on a deeper realm that we don't understand, because whatever this this dimension is, this very close by where the watchers are, okay, is very, very, very close by. Okay, so close by, but we can't see it. So we could be going home, we could be charging the batteries for said computer, because we got a lot of power. Now, stop there. New subject, mud flood. This city is absolutely stunning. It's Denver in Colorado, and she's beautiful. I know a few people from this city. It's all in red brick. Looks a bit Moorish here with the church going on. It's quite busy. And there's something wrong with it because it's all been altered, obviously, and I think there's more going on in the background. But the fact still remains is there's a large red brick city, and this is an early photograph. Okay, guys, this is supposed to be in the 1870s, but look how beautiful. Now, would you say this neighborhood here, Okay, and these buildings here and that building there and all of this city would arrive in less than 20 years, because only 20 years or so before this photograph there were apparently tents here. Unfortunately they can't give us a photograph of the tents, it's a pencil drawing. So what about that building? So if this entire civilization shows up really late as 1860, guys, 1860 this shows up, the city is tents. Before then nothing there apparently. Okay, gets included in a battle in the American Civil War, and they decide to put the railway through and bam the city and the gold prospectors. The usual bullshit narrative. This city was once made of wood, it gets burned down, same old narrative, all of this happens apparently. So this building with the blocked window arches that look like they go a lot deeper, and this square, what looks like a bit of a castle in the centre of Denver with the little castellations, little slits, and I've got the big arches here as well. It's supposed to be built like a couple of years before, and it's got, right, 100-year-old looking in no time at all. Now take note of this, the main building, okay, the main city hall, and this area all in front, because it's got a bit of film or a bit of photograph of a panoramic of this entire area cleared, and they put up some sort of civic building, which I'll have a look now. So Denver's beautiful, all in that grey granity colour. That seems to be shored up there. Getting a bit closer, not really. Seems to be a lot of wrought iron going on, a lot of aerials, and a lot of industry, which they talk about in the narrative anyway. But look at this Italian building. So there's no doubt she's Tartaria, and the style and everything's there. The Gothic feel there, look a bit, maybe, and what are like Moorish field churches. So the history's just nuts. Okay, so she just bursts forth from 1858. It's like basically located. Nothing really happens. Okay, first settlers, just official narrative nonsense, and you'll see why. Because apparently this is in 1859. It looks like this, guys. In 1859, Denver looks like that. It's just tents and there's no city, they tell you. Okay, so the infrastructure, the street grids, the sewers, everything that had to go in went in when to build these ancient-looking Union Station in downtown Denver, which is a later Phoenician additive. Wow. And this, the Denver Opera House, massive Tartarian building, again, huge arches. So all of these are supposed to have just turned up. Oh, that's 1898. How many years is that? I see a photographer, public domain. 1865 question mark. That would give us 6 years from tents to that, guys. 6 years from tents to that, and 1860 to 38 years to a massive Tartarian beautiful city, I think now. And it's Colorado state capital. She's a mud flood, identical to all the other state buildings everywhere else in America. That could be any one of them. Austin, it's got a nice one. And they had a beautiful train by the look of it. But again, look at that. The industrial estates even look like computer components. Huh. So, excuse me, Denver, Colorado. Now, there's outside of that civic hall, there was a construction of a county building, which I thought was really interesting because you could mag right up on it. Let's see if I can just get that a bit bigger. I want to have a little look. Because they're always interesting to look at building sites. The first thing I noticed, guys, was the footings. Now, they're putting this building in, they've dug it out, okay, and they've had to go this low below street level, although they're going to have windows in, apparently, with the mud looking out. So that's an interesting thing. Yeah, all of these are mud flooded across the way. You see, almost as if they have, impersonating the past, so that they can pull that one up. I've seen it with one or two other structures as well. So this is like in 1928, but what you see is how deep is that wall, guys? And how old is that wall looking? Does that look like it's just been laid? Because there's all lime leaching out of it, look. You know, like sewer walls. This wall looks really old. And that's the footing. So interesting that they put windows facing there. And all the buildings across the road are mud flooded. So, civic building. Let's have a look. And what a messy, bloody sight. 2 bunco booths there. Load of them, in fact. What are all them? And there's the city of Denver. And there's that main Colorado state building. Smack in the centre of the city, all mud flooded, ancient looking, dirty. Yeah. When in the age of photography, guys, photography's been around 20 years by 1859. Why couldn't they give us a photograph? And then suddenly, this thing shows up, this city. So yeah, doesn't ring true. Something about that site because of that wall. I've seen the same thing with. There's just basically the depth of it for start off. It just seems incredibly deep. For a footing, doesn't it? And it seems a lot older. Shored up here, there's no wall, like a breach has been made, and then there's this incredibly big wall again. All below ground level. Window going out below the street. So think about that, guys. Why are they putting a window below the street? To see what? The mud? That's a tricky picture. I don't trust the dating on that. There's something wrong with all of that. That are all wall. Just replacing the building for an old footprint, maybe. An older footprint. And this is where I got some of the stuff from Denver, and this is an excellent collection, right guys, for antiquity, for maps, for old photography, for alchemical stuff, sciences, medicine, literature, natural history, and there's some beautiful stuff on here, guys. Okay, so I'm going to link that up to you for you to share, for me to share to you. Okay, so let's have a look at some pictures of Denver, Colorado. Excuse me. So that would appear to be Denver in 1859. Just tents, a couple of huts, nothing. Apparently they built a little city made of wood, and that's supposed to be the earliest photograph of Denver, Colorado. What are the aerials for? What are the aerial for here? It's got like printing, Rocky Mountain News. Oh right, they got a giant aerial because they got wireless in there. So anyway, all that apparently got burnt down, and you can't get like a photograph of the. That's the earliest one. That last one further back. Is that a castle? And this is supposed to be one of the earliest as well. Panorama of Denver, DenverTaria, and there's nothing going on. Can't imagine that being the centres of the city, but again, the grids are there. You see for all these cities anyway, as we've showed you. They're actually mud flooded. Dirt roads, wooden boards. It's like it's one of the cities we see in Russia, like Omsk or Tomsk. Anyway, mud, like the Wild West. Billboard saloon, exactly like the Wild West. And it goes from the Wild West to the Opera House, which is 1836, 1821. Oh, that's the go to the photograph. But it was only a few years after, guys. Same massive doors for giants. This one. And there's that castle. You know, a little castle in Denver, you know, with the battlements and the little port. And they're all mud flooded. The stairs go up and there's lower windows from the old buildings. So Denver was there already. This isn't Denver. This is a thing that I want to look into. This is called Castle Rock. I believe it's in Colorado, but it's like a castle that's on top of a hill, and the place is called Castle Rock. So again, old American history. You had a giant castle on top of one of the hills there. Castle Rock. And there it is, sort of nestling into the hillside. getting a bit more developed, they say. The photographic record stinks, really. I don't trust it at all. Like, you've got these lines, these Antiquitech devices just spread out. Everything looks half buried in the mud. Can you see that there? Which came first? Building or the mud? Oh, excuse me. Which came first, the building or the mud? And you got some mining industry going down. So it's a bit higgledy-piggledy. Looks like the Welsh valleys there, does Colorado. But in no time at all, she's a beautiful city. You know, Phoenician decoration. They got an arch to go through. Looks like it's made of metal. Looks like it's got electric lights in it. To the beautiful main thoroughfare, which has also got like a terminus at the end. But check these buildings. They're all mud flooded. That is a beautiful photograph definition. Let's have a look what's going on, guys. So we got cabs, lower windows. You know, look at the heights on these windows. Who's exactly going to look through them? And they got a globe. Oh, the Phoenician versions of the celestial spheres. I wish we knew what that says. So yeah, Denver had it going on in no time at all. Same as all the other American cities. You know, hats off to the gold prospectors, man. They can kick ass. If it weren't for the gold prospectors and the coal miners and the Irish, yeah, we'd all be living in mud huts. So yeah, they get a civilization going in Denver, build big fuck off buildings. The first thing they can think about doing is hating. What's wrong with society generally, isn't there? Yeah. Maybe they should be covered with dog shit. Throw dog shit bags at them, I would. Yeah, I mean, give dog shit bags a good use. Where you going? I'm going to throw dog shit bags. Ku Klux Klan. Can I come? Yeah, fuck yeah. Let's fill them up. So yeah, this is clearly been mud flooded, and an older building. You see the stars. See these wrought iron things? We thought they were to catch energy gather, okay, and also the veins, etc. in the Antiquitech. Surely, yeah. But they could also transfer a charge down the street. And Denver, and this is the funeral of Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill. And they got a massive clock tower going on there. That's an interesting little thing on the roof of there. So look at that. Oh, what is this then? Is this a flagpole? Looks ceramic. So what is that? Let's have a little nose around, shall we? Oh, this is a bit later. We got the little cars before the Model T Ford. No, that's a Model T Ford. So this is like 1920s, early 20s. They got the columns at the top always. Phoenician decoration at the top. This thing was there before, I would surmise, and something else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Denver, and this is it out in the suburbs, and you can certainly see it looks like Tomsk, Russia. Look at this building here, it's a killer for mud flood. Yeah. So what? Hang on a minute. That's that church. So basically, they cut it away, they built the house, and then they shoveled all the mud back in behind the house. Makes no sense. The mud has come flowing in, hasn't it, when the building was there already, and it stopped short. Here's the mud here, and this is late, you know. This looks 1950s, guys, and you still see, you know, the mud there. 1950s, and they got mud roads. The mud is still there in the suburbs of Denver, Colorado. It's a nice little shot, though. Heat. So yeah, she's been there a while, and this one is also in Denver. It's the Technological Institute, and as you can see, she's mud flooded. She looks really old, but apparently there was only tents there in 1859, but they can't show us in photographs or anything because basically they're telling lies. And there it is, Colorado, Denver, 1898. Beautiful city. Altars made into Tartaria in red. And just arrived miraculously out of nowhere. So we're moving on. So guys, you know my last post when I showed you the spookiness of all the arrivals coming from San Francisco's terminus. Well, this is 3 days before. We've all seen this, but I'm giving it to you because they've actually colorized it, and it's a big clue because not, you know, I can't go with, obviously they're not the original colors. This person I will link up on this video, awesome work, digitalizing and colorizing. I think they've done a fantastic job. It gives you a real feeling for being there. Now, we've said that this is a stage set, and then when you see it in color, it looks all the more. But it gives you a clue into the clothes colors. Now, as talked about on Lee's Vanna vlog, Lee Flat Earth British subscriber channel's last Vanna vlog, the Juice and Queen Victoria and other people wear black for a reason, okay? Because they're in mourning, okay? They're in mourning, they're moaning, they're in mourning. When you get the new Tartarian arrivals arrive, they're all in like drab, brown or black suits, all of them. Like the whole world's lost its colour. Well, they've been given these clothes. If you go 100 years before this period, or the people of the late 18th century, the clothes are fantastic quality, silks, the shirts, everything. Then suddenly, from the 1700s to the 1800s, they've completely lost all style, all fashion, all quality. Okay, and that includes in the furniture. Look at a Chippendale. They can't even replicate that now. You know, this sort of quality. Yeah. So they had exceptional quality, and everything plummets after 1811 reset. So we'll have a little look at this. I don't want to get copyrighted because I've actually got all of my last videos for the last month copyrighted, which is really unfortunate for myself because I need it. Because I've had my Patreon also declined for some reason. So we'll have a little look. Beautiful, isn't it? Lovely little colours. Purples on the cars, but I like these as well. The wind blowing in these canopies over the shops. But obviously they all got suicidal habits, like they want to die any second, and everyone seems to be performing for the camera. Everyone's aware of it because down here later on you see some people staring at the camera like it's coming down the road, waiting for it. You know when you watch a shitty movie and people stare at the camera and they give it away? You see it in here quite a bit actually, and a little boy later on is waving at it because he knows it's there. So if you were there in 1906, right, and you wanted to cross the road, you'd jump in front of that tram. You would. You'd nearly fucking kill yourself like that silly sausage there. Yeah? Like horses don't really stop as well. They don't give a fuck. So let's move on a bit. So they go to the terminus, the terminal, where these people will miraculously arrive from. There's all Antiquitech on top of them. All electric. Let's go back. Let's go back to that tram. Well, that tram's there is not connected up to the electricity you see going this way through the city. There's no overhead power lines and there's nothing. So this is like Antiquitech on top. This is a free energy one. You see? Little motors inside. I could show you that. And this one also. Antiquitech. No horses. Not on cables. Wirelessly controlled. Swahit. And these black suits, they're in mourning. They're in mourning for the civilization that's been taken down. It's a sort of ritualistic sort of thing. So every building you see there is completely destroyed only 3 days later, they say. So there you are. I'll just take my baby across the road and you'll get it splatted by the camera that I'm looking at. People are never even shocked. So I see cameras every day because it's 1906. You see a man with a camera every day in 1906. Well, you would. Television's been around a long time. So, very suicidal nature. And you get closer down to the terminus, people get even more suicidal. Yeah. You have to stay at the camera. Look away. You're not supposed to look at the camera. You're giving the game away. So, stage set Market Street. Everyone involved, like a Cecil B. DeMille production, just to get down to the terminus. But it is nice in colour. Now we can interpret their clothes. They were very, very bland. They lost all colour. And this is another thing it proves, that the streets were not designed for horse and carts. All the antique world has cobbles, and look how shit they work on cobble. No good. He's got to use the rail just to even go forward. Yeah? Another Antiquitech one. See? The suicidal nature of these things? Yeah, and don't bother waiting. Just cut in, and then there's a little boy who's sort of going to give the game away now. Probably had a slap when he got home. You're not supposed to know. How could you know there was a camera? And what are you hiding from? But anyway, all of these, well, they say 4,000 get killed in the city a couple of days later, and disease, because it's supposed to be bubonic plague happening at year. They're not no lockdown or anything, are they? 20 past 4, that looks like, or 10 to 4. Yeah, so you can't even imagine what went on there. But they got reset by some tech, all these people, and then they had new arrivals coming through this bunko move. So a beautiful bit of footage. This is a good one as well if you haven't seen it. New York City life turn of the century. So I think actually Triumph's also part of it, guys. When they mentioned it before for demagnetization after the battlefield using Fach's weapons, etc. But in the antique world, they got to do processions. They all come through art triumphs. What triumph tree? Isn't that three? 3 uses. I think these things were maybe decontamination, demagnetization, or now I'm thinking because they're the way into your circuit board city that it could draw a charge off you, discharge you. Guys, when you're in the army and they leave you go, they say you're discharged. When you're going into battle, they say charge. Charge what? I haven't got an electromagnetic gun. I haven't got a ray gun, have I? I've got a fucking pistol or a revolver or a rifle. So they use terms in the military today to represent electromagnetic technologies they were using in the past, because you're not in you're living in Liedtke right now, okay? By far the stupidest reset of all of them, but I don't know, because I'm guessing they were stupider before, but not from what the interpretation of antiquity shows us. Now, I had a book given to me yesterday. It was fantastic, showing me date anomalies in the added 1,000 years in an Irish historical annal, but I got to read it some more before I could present it. But it's fantastic. Yeah, academics in the past, they knew about this added 1,000 years. It's very, very Phoenician to make it work for them when they stole a civilization. In the golden age of Tartaria, I think the streets were, it was scintillating. The streets were lined with gold streets, and it must have been absolutely fantastic. And with the Antiquitech devices giving off resonance and frequency and stuff. So, loads more to come. Please do share this out. It's going to be not be a remarkably long vlog today because I have so much on, but there's a lot to cover. Now, in the last week or so, I don't know whether I told you on my last post, no I never, that Max Igan's Crowhouse's channel has got taken out. So that's hundreds of thousands of subscribers, etc. 237,000 subs, 13 years work, etc. But half of his channel's been saved, and I can link that up. It's on my community page, and I can link it up here. So if you want to sub to Max's backup channel, which is called Surviving the Matrix, and this website that survives some of his data, I'll link them up in the descriptions below. Let's get Max's stuff back, his subs back, please. So this is what I've been up to. Mine's Black Computer Cities, okay, and if you don't know and you've just arrived, this is our channels, okay? We go live on here, guys, and we do think tanking on here, the Flat Earth British Think Tank channel. And I got the Tartarian channel, which I just showed you, Bone Battery Banks, and this channel, Liedtke channel. Okay, guys, there's plenty to look at, a wealth of resources and everything you need to get into this subject. Now I'm going to take you on an emotional roller coaster ride, guys, okay? It will be hopefully going to inspire, but first we have to look at the bastards that rule us, okay? Somebody in my comments in America, which touched me greatly, upset me actually, said that he knew of a terrible disaster that happened in Wales years ago. And could you tell me anything about it? Now, this was Wales's worst disaster, and unfortunately it had to be the death of a lot of children. And it was the National Coal Board. They knew this thing was going to go. Basically, we had a slag heap up the valleys in the village of Aberfan, which is heartbreaking. You go through Aberfan and all the hillside is covered with little white crosses of all the children. You cannot, you'd have to be, I don't know what kind of person you'd have to be not to cry. So the school was sure, and they had a mountain behind, but it wasn't a mountain, it was a slag heap of coal waste. It rained a lot. They seen fishes in it. The National Coal Board would not shore it up, and they still sent the kids to school. One morning it rained terribly, and there was a crack, and this thing slid. 250,000 cubic feet of coal landed on a school. 120 children, nearly everybody in the village's kids were killed, and 28 teachers. Some of the stories, if you look into it, will rip your heart out. It's the most heartbreaking of things, and probably definitely our worst thing with our coal mining disasters. The National Coal Board were responsible. There was a subsequent inquiry placed the blame and disaster on the organisation and 9 employees. They were not really held accountable, but there was a massive influx of money came in from the whole world. The whole world was so moved by this terrible calamity that everyone sent millions to the village to, support how many parents, hundreds of parents. This is a tiny village. They lost 116 children. Now, when I was a kid, when I was about 17, there was an old guy. They used to go in Manti Gainer's house, and he was there digging these kids out. And he mentioned, so I thought to ask him, what was it like? He was alcoholic, but he sat in the chair, and this guy was a tough guy, and he just fucking broke his heart. He was sobbing. It was just like, oh, was it that bad? It was just. So I can't even imagine. Look at that, 111 feet high, 111 feet high. Took them lovely little Welsh angels. Fucking. But inspiration time now. Inspiration. Getting all upset then. Through the words of Four Seasons in Frankie Valli. No, I know it sounds crazy, but guys, if you listen to this track, it is so deep of what's going on, and it fits right in with now. So, Grease is a film with John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, as you know. But Frankie Valli done the song, and it's very meaningful. And it was missed by millions at the time, but I don't think I missed it. I thought it was right on. I solve my problems and I see the light. We got a loving thing, we gotta feed it right. Bang on. There ain't no danger, we can go too far. We start believing now who we can be, who we are. Indeed, so far. Bingo. Grease is the word. That should be. Flat Earth is the word. Do, 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 do. They think our love is just a growing pain. Why don't they understand it's just a crying shame? Their lips are lying. Only real is real. We stop the fight right now. We got to be what we feel. It's fucking brilliant. So Grease is the word. Do, 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 do. We take the pressure and we throw away conventionality. Belongs to yesterday. That would be us, the truthers. There is a chance that we can make it so far if we start believing now that we can be who we are. So this year is fucking bang on. There is a chance we can get the prize if we can just know what we are, guys. This Grease is the word. Grease is the word. It's got time, it's got place, it's got motion. Now Grease is the way we are feeling. This is a life of illusion, wrapped up in trouble, laced with confusion. What are we doing here? We take the pressure and we throw away conventionality. Repeat it. But amazing lyrics and very inspirational, I find, because it's just bang on. The key is with us, you know. It is a shame, but it can be healed. This whole place can be healed. All brothers and sisters together, no division. Not even thinking like that. It won't be an issue, because we won't be like that. We'll be clear of them, unplugged from them, the Phoenicians. So more inspiration. I found this fascinating. I think it was on Guy Jones's channel. Street dancing in Drury Lane in London, 1896. It's absolutely really wonderful bit of footage. Kids dancing, and look how similar it is to Irish river dance. Yeah, expect Michael Flatley to come out any second. So check it out, guys. Hopefully I won't get copyrighted again. You're doing a little Irish jig and they're good at it too. Everyone loves watching them. So that's what they did. And they're good at it. And it's exactly like the Irish dancing. Oh, it's nice, isn't it? Happiness in the streets of London. Go on, girls. What? Oh, they're going for it now. Oh, fuck off, Oz. So yeah, I really like that. It's quite touching. Nice to think there was people happy and dancing in the past. I love that sort of thing. I think everyone should be dancing. You should be dancing, yeah. So there's that film, The Last Mimsy, I was talking about. If you haven't seen it, it's a cracking little film. But basically, there's an ecological disaster. The world is destroyed. Isolated war, like, and they invent like a little robot, a stuffed rabbit. But they find when they go into it, yeah, that it's got a chip in there that says Microsoft. Anyway, so yeah, it has psychic abilities. It displays empathy, telepathy, levitation, telekinesis, and the name is Noah. So this film's deeply coded. You know, it needs to be watched again. Time portal is a concept of moving between certain points in time. So they sent it through a time portal. But they say they can't send DNA because it damages it through the time travel process. So they had to send this dot, but I don't know if that's true. We're only synthetics. If, you know, in a certain sense, we can't, you know, define synthetics in that sense. This is our website, in case you didn't know. There's a lot going on, okay? But I'm getting a bit of poo for the photo drop. I can't be responsible for Google's insanities. Now, this morning I was watching Jason from Disbury family. He was in Glastonbury, I think, going through the street centre, handing out Obebos leaflets on, don't wear a mask, it's dangerous, just have your brain of oxygen, make yourself ill. Apart from that, it's full of snot, don't bother. Okay, sort of reality. And basically Google cut his feed, said that, you know, he was doing violation of some sort. Yeah, so they were watching him real time, and he's not allowed to even say. If they start bringing in masks and stuff for all shops, I'm not going to be able to go in shops anymore, because I'm not wearing one. I've already discussed it with my son, I'm just not. I'm not going to put myself, just do any of that bullshit. Fuck them. No. So yeah, if you don't know about the book, everybody who reads it comes back and tells me exactly the same thing, that their mind is splattered. We are working on book 2, okay, which is going to be super exciting as well. But Holy Grail of the Flat Earth by Liedtke, you can buy it on here, okay, and I'll give you a site link, okay. This is everything I got going on. Join my Instagram, guys. I love my Instagram. I post on there every day, and you can find out what's happening. I give you little news clips, if you like. Donate to me if you can as well, because my Patreon basically got blasted last month. I don't know, I got sort of stopped, which left me in the shit. And I've been doing this. Now, I was on a show with James True, as I said, Friday, and I'll link that up as well, because that was a fantastic show. But I did this. I've got the video, I've got it downloaded, and I can upload this interview this week on Flat Earth British Think Tank channel. It was a really good interview with John Le Bon. This is his website, okay, for his members website, and you can listen to it there. I have a second hour. I'm going to give that free and upload it to my Patreons sometime this week. Now, other news, okay, I'm coming back now. Stay there, stay there. I got images of the day, loads to go, yeah. Is if you need hemp, okay, or CBD oil, which we all do in this day and age, right? You won't get better than this, and it's cleaner, and it's my friend, Gillian, okay? So this is where I get CBD hemp products from. I suggest if you need them, get them from Jill. She'll sort you right out, guys, okay? Flat with British peep as well, yeah? One of us, guys, one of us. So, images of the day. So, other things happening. Now, there's a comet. Comet-wise. It's over Britain right now. So we don't know if that's an active ingredient into whatever's been going on. But what a name, Neo, just like in the Matrix. There is no spoon, Neo. This life is an illusion. You can do what you want in here. With good intent and love in your heart. Unconditional. The world is our oyster. It's ours. This is an incredible building. I think this one's in Bucharest. But notice how it's just exceptionally, you know, big and top heavy, and half of it's buried here, and this is probably going a lot lower. Columns on the doors, which are just like battery cells. These things were charged. This is the clue, right, guys, as well. You notice that all post offices everywhere in Christendom are the same style, and banks, your Lloyd's banks on corners, etc. They're all the same style with the Greco-Romano columns, etc. I think they need to put specific style buildings on certain corners because they do a certain thing with the computer, the city computer, in antiquity, which explains why they're all replicated. Now you all see these buildings, anything like this in Eastern Mediterranean, because I've had a look at, like, I went on Google and looked at like Beirut and other places. They just don't have this. It's all a classical old world stuff, but they won't have this. Like the Phoenicians or the, Tartaria never actually got to Phoenicia. So these things as well, generating large amounts of energy. What were they doing with all of that power? Were they projecting our reality that we're in now? The virtual reality. These doors, tunnels, blocked up, underground. So this is some sort of Coptic church, but it's definitely mud flooded. And it's got bunkers, which you'll always find, because there's two types of survivors, guys. There's the survivors who are promised because they're a member of that 1% of pieces of shit, okay, and the people who knew the terrifying truth of this place and they prepared cleverly. Them people. So check this out. We got the same thing in Brighton called the Regent's Palace. It's onion domes, and it's Moorish. It's beautiful. Look at that. So that's in India. Beautiful building, but energy gathering. So this was ideas before. No, I don't think. So apparently this was a wind turbine, a giant wind turbine, 40,000 foot. Whether it existed, I doubt, because they had free energy. These pylons, they could be older. Pylons are ripping across your country, and they are possibly not carrying power, possibly gathering or even getting rid of it. The wind turbines could have been getting rid of it. They could have a glut of power with free energy. So look at this for a pipe machine. Or like, see that under there, bricked up. So underneath the organ machine is an arch, all blocked up to below it. So this church device had a hell of an amazing organ machine, producing harmonics. Beautiful. This is a 100% contender for a mud-flooded Phoenician temple style. Interesting columns, interlaced. Beautiful. But she's been smashed. I would say been underwater by the event. Nice little hang on, how old is this when this stone wall comes up to it? That stone wall looks like it's webbed in. Wow, that's older. Older. How long will I say we've been here? Well, with the clues given in that book, it was sent to me a couple of days ago, day ago, sorry. I was reading it last night. Definite added 1,000 years extra, history switch off. I would say the 1400s weren't even there. I would say that all of this happened within the last 500 years, the stealing of a civilization, 2 resets, and missing years in between. How did it happen? How does it work? Well, they got all of the records, all of the control, guys. They whitewash history. They whitewash the skies so you don't see all the balloons in them. Look at these electrical advertising boards. And everything you see on the top is a part of the technology. Same buildings replicated all over Christendom. Look at that bridge. That had to be the under arch of a larger bridge in the middle of nowhere, don't you think? How did they get the keystone to stand in there? No, I think this was a bigger bridge. One arch of it. An interesting feature. And these, look at this. On the corners, they're just these massive buildings. This one's got a globe on top. And you get the four angels type of scenario. So I'm starting to wonder now whether four angels, the electromagnetic structure of this, looking down, would be some sort of, look like a computer. The whole place, with them grids, with the cities, they're all arrived around the 1800, reactivated. After the last reset, they reactivate it. For what? These are part of it. Generating. Stupid technology. Nesting technology. Using sound, using shapes to create energy. And this building's interesting. This is it in the modern day. You see the big arches and the stone. And there it is back in the past. As you can see, they built a road and everything else. And it's this much is buried below ground level, basically. Okay. It's quite a lot. That goes a lot deeper, that building, which you find with all antiquity. It's all mud flooded. So you see these all over Christendom, and these beautiful, ornate, there's a Solomon sigil in, there's a demonic sigil in that one. So that when the forces go through the ether, it will catch the Solomon sigil or the Bacchusite that's set in there, and it will make a bad energy passing through it. A lot of bad energy in these cities as well, see guys. So apparently this was Roosevelt's dining room. FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt, was his dining room. So when you had guests in, this is what it looked like. So he was doing alright, wasn't he? So more tech, anomalous tech from the old days. Some sort of sparkly gantry with loads of star shapes and wrought iron. So that thing is just an energy gatherer out there to show. All mud flooded. Well, that's nice. And some of the transport of the old. They had electric, which I showed in my last post. This one's got a big battery underneath. Probably get some speed and a carriage you could take. But nice little electric car. They came along before petrol cars. Nice. Look at the woodwork on that house. And these wrought iron again. See all these with the fleur-de-lis? You know, they're always massive and high. You don't need, you know, nobody's in a climbing aid, just walk through as a field. They just really not needed, and I think in it because they just take a charge down the street, as will these, as will them, while creating a charge pad to power the matrix. To power the matrix with human batteries that in these brick buildings with crystalline structure and antiquitech on top. There's a gun there for a giant. So, yeah. No man could pick that up. So that had to be a giant's gun. The giants had them. Okay, and this is I suppose like an armory out of one of our old books. Okay. And it's a large room and it's full of giant guns. Because use men and use the guns. Guns for giants. Giant guns. Who knew? Of course, they had guns. So there's another mud-flooded Coptic church. Ladder alert. And you notice, you know, with all of these devices, guys, later on they've had adaptations. You know, things taken out. There's two holes there. For whatever was pinned in there has been removed. And this place is just full of mud. All of it to there. Okay. A mud-flooded Coptic church. And in the past as well, they'll show you flying dragons, breathing dragons. They seem to be like an actual thing. What's that place there? Mortimu. Death something. And the air balloons. So somebody asked me to present Mundus Subterraneous. If you don't know what that is, it shows the Panama Canal and the Suez Canal, built but underground in the days of Kirchner of 1700s. And you find that on the Tartaria channel, Mundus Subterraneous, if you're interested. Somebody said in my comments yesterday. So as you can see, the green man, Bacchus, on some relief. And I can't confirm or deny, but apparently this is the skeleton of a half man, half fish, which has been regarded in this day and age as a merman. But, you know, mermen and merwomen, as far as I know, don't look like that. So I got a book of original Solomon sigils. I presented them. They're on the Tartarian channel. This is one of them. And you can compare these to piezoelectric forces. In the modern day, they will show you curly bits, junctures, like this. This is technology. Demons and angels and all the rest of it are electrical forces. Electric is more than you know. It's spiritual, it's conscious, it's knowing, it's sentient, it's intelligent, it's all encompassing. We are electric. Okay? What about this? How to get around on 4 elephants. Yeah, it'd be lovely to have a pet elephant. Little one, no baby elephant. Love a pet baby elephant. Follow me round. So a transportation exhibit for the Chicago World's Fair, and they have dome over dome over dome, looking Asian. Sorry, it's not a clear shot, but just for transportation. How long a transportation in the modern day been around by that time? Not long. So, thoughts. Outside it says Osiris and Isis, doesn't it? These land masses that are possibly outside. Now, way back, I picked up a map I've discovered, was blown away, shared it out, disappeared, gone. Kawawashi map, which showed loads and loads of massive land masses outside. Now, we're on a mining operation. You can see because the place is scarred to shit. These valleys, some of them we see, they say are glacial deposit valleys or glacial valleys. They're not. They are clearly machined by big machines because we can compare them to the modern day. You can see all this on a Tartarian vlog. So the plane we live on, in azimuthal equidistance, surrounded by some sort of seawall with ways through to the other continents outside. Okay, now if this thing here was computing, or all the cities are computing, they could be computing for these lot. Oh yeah, something else completely. But this can be infinitely big out here. We have no idea how big it is. We're on planes, remember, planes of reality, planes of consciousness as well. So really intriguing. So these could be like just land that was dug away by giants machines, taken out and put out here, like a landfill, like you see in Dubai in the modern day, and compressed, stolen and ripped out, because the whole place is a mining operation, in fact. So there's Tartaria in its heyday with a beautiful dome window. Look at that lattice work there. Looks like the DNA strand. Okay, and some more below street level brickwork in Mexico. And that's in St. Petersburg. I love the gold on these statues, but if they painted them in gold originally, that would have transferred charges. I would conduct it. These things, we always knew they were technology, guys, but looking at it like that, and we've seen outside conduits on the Cathedral at Stuttgart, places like that have outside conduits. Then I noticed this one. This is an old site in India where you can see sunken, mud-flooded buildings, and then I looked at that and I thought, what? That's a heat sink. This whole thing is a heat sink. I can't imagine what else it could be in reality, but it looks identical to a heat sink out of a PC. Okay, what else could it be but a heat sink? And this is inside this church on this site. It's been full of mud. It's all come in, the mud flood. See? And solidified inside. But look at the quality of marble. The domed roofs. All the swirls. But full of mud. In this site here, where you can see this, it's half buried. All blocked up. But it's a pyramid. How deep would this go? These stones will have placed. What's going on? And all of these were stone cut. And this one as well. So the mud, all of this is coming all over the top of it, burying it all completely. And then they've dug this out later. And that was really, really deep. Really, really deep. This deep. So it's quite big. What is it? Way underground device, but mud flooded that entire hill. So that thing's massive. They've climbed in there to see what it does, see if there's treasure in there or something. But all of these are blocked up, these between the columns. And mud. See it? So that's definite mud flood there. And that's inside that church I just showed you. So all of this mud here is like a river of it. It's coming later. And buried inside that church, that beautiful little church. So what do you think the one outside for is the brass band on a Sunday afternoon? Tiddly-um-pum-pum. Tiddly-um-pum-pum. Bucharest, early 20th century. You got the same building, same corners, same style, all over Christendom. Except for Southeast Asia, the only place they don't have it. But I expect they got something else in situ. And look at this for a device, aerial, and the wind blows through it, it drives cranks at turbine, and it will do, I don't know, pumping. If you had a dynamo, it can create electricity and free the whole house with free energy. So that is in the machine. I've got the date of that. So that could generate. What we got here? Oh, I've shown this before. It's ridiculous. This is a race between European nations' powerhouses in a Phoenician context. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. All of it. All of their paradigm and all what they push with competition. You know, there's two suns. Yeah, there will be. Against people like, you know, with nationalism and borders, which are invisible lines made up on a map. So this is the Palace of Versailles. No toilets in the place. Louis XVI knocks this little gaff up, which is all already mud flooded, but he has the best gardens in the world, the machiner to basically irrigate all of this, which is like the biggest machine you can imagine, full of these incredible waterfalls, mazes, as far as I can see, in Versailles. All looks like a circuit board from above. Yeah, it's all full of mud, because you can't do a forecourt or any flowers. And it's all mud flooded, and bigger, and older. So, Versailles is older, and it hasn't got any toilets. And it's all muddy outside, because it can't be bothered at that period. So yeah, apparently there was another earthquake as well, in 1868, Clay Street, in Oregon. Okay. And, nice early photograph, but look how the buildings are all just folding in. They are already mud flooded, look. See the boards? Mud and just wood. Yeah, they got all of that stone to build a 4-story building on mud and wooden planks. So yeah, an earthquake early on. So the earthquakes seem to have decreased over recent years ago. They were all the time, unless they're not reporting them. I can't remember the last earthquake I was mentioned. So these are beautiful, historic, decorative windows for British churches. Absolutely beautiful. Stained glass. So I've got a book about stained glass, rose glass. There's a big clue in the glass, as you know, with these, could it be lead content? Lead is definitely a player. They removed all the lead from the paint. They removed it from the petrol, saying, oh no, it'll give you brine damage, you'll end up dribbling mess, we've got to take it all away. Yeah, because lead blocks EM. Electromagnetics, like 5G and stuff, 4G as well. It will block it, so they got rid of the lead paint. But I think if you have lead paint around your walls in a cell, what have they got inside a battery, guys? What have they got inside a battery? Lead. I think you know, they had a new technology, they upgraded. They didn't need the lead paint, but it was part of it, the old part of it. So also Tower of Babel, Phoenician. Set in the Middle Ages with the Middle Ages ships. Okay. Always thought to be a device. For what? Well, in a computer sense, I'm thinking something else completely right now. But, you know, Holy Land, deciduous trees. Or what is supposed to be the Fertile Crescent at this period, but, you know, Iran, Iraq, Persia, and they got deciduous trees, which don't exist there. This is Chicago, from a shroppy image. You got the doors going under there. No windows. And beautiful. It could be my city or anyone's. All got these. Could be Australia, South America, South Africa. Anyway, but really nice photo of that. And this is Syracuse, state capital of New York State, and it's like Rochester. It's like New York itself, but these beautiful, beautiful mud-flooded Tartarian buildings. And this canal's been spoken about. Okay, you've got the Erie Canal, part of the system of all of this, what I think is electric circuitry now. And each building has a specific purpose in this circuitry, is what I think. Now, one more thing to share, I could share for you before I go, because I can. I've got a little bit more time. This will be posted later tonight, so thanks for popping by, peeps. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, and could you please share this out? And thank you for everything. Okay, and please donate to me as well. Gotta pay my bills. So this is what would have been previously Thailand. Okay, and they give you some really cool pictures in there. Okay, Siam, King of Siam, with the King and I, with Yul Brenner. That's a saber-tooth goat pig man thing. But they have like bats that attack you. He's got like a gun, but he should have a pea shooter. It would have been better, or a poison dart. They have millions of bats. They need the guano. So this is quite early Victorian stuff, like early 1800s, but really interesting how Siam was so advanced. So I'm guessing that's an armadillo. Have you seen them when they roll up like that and they go ping out again? Towers. So yeah, looks beautiful, Thailand. And they got armadillos walking around. Nice little pyramid. And Antiquitech Tower. And then you find this. I thought, is this Siam? What? Kind of tech. So it's a huge star fort plan. Huge star fort. Picture for a huge, massive flagpole with some sort of. This huge flagpole needs a depot, so I'm thinking it does something else, but pretty advanced. And again, looking like a circuit board, they have some sort of park with massive Antiquitech Tower dome thing. This thing. It's not what you'd expect for Siam, is it, guys? But they seem to be everywhere in Southeast Asia. I've posted about Hong Kong. I've posted about Shanghai. And now Thailand. Below ground level. Double vaulted. Below ground level. And they don't fall off. And apparently he's a missionary. Avoid them like the plague. Don't mess with a missionary, man. And they're catching birds with poles. As you do. Not with Polish people, I mean bamboo poles. A snake charmer. Is he having a scratch? What's he doing? Yeah, snake charmer. So if you make music, you can charm a snake. What about the Indian rope trick? Do you think that's real? Do you think the boy could climb up and disappear? Or the rope could stay there? What do we think's going on with the Indian rope trick? So here's these bats again. Yeah? Batmen. So imagine that jumping out of a freaking tree at you. Jeez. Punch it, wouldn't you? And again, circuit board cities in Siam. And I've got this central processor. Happens to be a star fort. Yeah, things are starting to make a lot more fucking sense just lately. On all fronts. With the awakening, with the weirdness, the trippiness of everything that's happening. Shared experience, acceleration of it all. Expectancy. It's a very, very hopeful time. Very, very inspiring. So, can't tell you how I feel about it all. Oh, look at that one. Right, so that would be an observatory. Wow, an upside down cross. That looks weird in the background. Stars. Yeah, it's just an observatory. It's an unusual building, that, guys. I'll give you the links, you can check it out yourself. There's only a few of them, but they are quite pretty and I like a bit of colour. I haven't been doing any music because basically I don't want to get copyrighted. Oh. But I do like a bit of music. So, elephant's enclosure. Fuck me, what's the size of the dog? Oh, it's not dog, it's a lion. Oh, look at this. Yeah, it's like Jurassic Park for elephants. They got them all in an enclosure. Not fair. And look at this. This is definitely antiquitech-y. Oh, it's also a flying machine. Yeah. Look at all this antiquitech. I wonder what's in that glass thing there. Balloon Asayam. And a white elephant, which is definitely highly revered in Thailand. As I've been told from my friend, Nick Funkit who is from Thailand but can't unfortunately go back to his family because of all the weird shit that's going down at the moment, which I do not like. Hello. They got dunces hats on. People who live there. You know, it's like a tabernacle, is it? Tabernacle? So it looks like a little tabernacle. But yeah, they got a nice grass roof and they all got happy hats on. And they're saying hi to that European. I keep away from him, man. Don't believe a word he says. He'll offer you projects and stuff and money next. And then come off fucking murder you all later. Here they are. Nice fleet. Whoa, Siam fleet rocked. Whoa, and it's a cannonage. And there's a map. I think that's it. I'm coming back. Please don't go away. Just stay there. Vibration. My midweek visits to you all. So. Oh, so what do you think, guys? Let me know in comments. Human batteries. We produce 2,000 watts of electricity. They want us to go home to discharge, to put us in brick buildings, and they're all connected to the electricity grid, which we know is a free energy network, and it's all on a circuit and it's computing. Okay, I would love to know where this computing ability is going, but I got a suspicion. Okay, like our reality, the Matrix. So that's me for today. I gotta go and do some stuff. See you later in chat. And I will be back probably the weekend for Flat today, because it'll be more time now because it's Tuesday today. So that's it. I'll put my email address, everything that I need, my links wise, you need in the descriptions box below this video. Flat Fresh. Man speaking. I'll see you later. Be good, don't do anything I wouldn't do.